unmute myself there. All right, I think we're live. I'm going to get started in just a few minutes. Have two avatars planned for folks. One's for Alex, and one is for Jeff. We're going to start with Alex's first. Um, he sent me some reference photos, so you'll see those on the stream, as well as the ones for Jeff. So be on the lookout for those. I like to use reference when modeling characters because we want them to look like the person that they're supposed to represent. So something stylized but still recognizable in a fun, playful style. So let's get into it. I'll keep an eye on the chat. To the left of me, it'll be a little bit of a delay since we have a little bit of delay. So if you have any questions or you want to know how I'm going to be doing things, just let me know, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. It's to my left here. So great. I'm going to jump into Cinema. I have it all set up. So I'm going to be using that base file for this character. This is the reference photos. I'm using PureRef, so I can put this PureRef window wherever I want. Move it around, you can see the other reference photos there. But these are the ones I'm going to be using. And over here is my render window as well, so when we update this render will update as well. So you can kind of see what that looks like when I change it. So when it updates, you see the view changes. And I'm using like a very high focal length camera, so it flattens out the image a bit. You don't see as much perspective. And that's why, like, when you switch out of this camera, the character can look kind of strange. But we won't concern ourselves too much with that. We'll stay with this. I like to turn off the camera updates with this little icon and then get right to it. So let's take a look. We're going to duplicate this base. And I'm going to turn off the render update too, because we don't need to see all the updates just yet. It's usually when you're dialing in the look of the character, that's when you turn on the renderer, so it doesn't, hamper your performance too much. Okay, so what do we want to update first? We want to turn on, let's just name this, keep an eye on my notifications here too. Let's turn off the hair. So we got two segments for the hair, one for the left, one for the right. Holding Alt and clicking these will turn off in both the renderer and the viewport. At least it should. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I haven't turned off the face yet. So you can kind of see he looks a little funny. So let's look at the reference here. Let's zoom in here. Let's get the head shape dialed in first. So I go into my volume builder. I find the head shape. And let's get that. Did I turn off the camera? Let's see. No, we gotta undo the camera movements. I always do that when I'm working with this. Alright, so let's get this looking good here. So, hopefully everyone is still following along on the stream. Not lagging too much. Yeah, alright, good. Okay, let's get the head shape dialed in, as I said. So I'm going to go into the head, select the head shape. I'm going to use my grab brush here, and get the front looking good. So let's do that. We got this on the side, a little bit wider of a chin, and the head is a little bit wider as well. Now this is going to lag a little bit because of the volume builder itself takes time to update. So when you update a shape within a volume builder, it has to update all the connected shapes as well to get that nice look. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit wider. And the cheeks. this is. All right, let's just try here. Probably have to add like let's turn off this. If I turn off this, you'll see like the weird shapes that make up the sphere that's in there. You can see switching back to this view. So like then his face looks super wide. We're gonna probably have to tweak that. Alright. Let's see. And then the head doesn't flatten out like this, right? It's a little different. So we gotta pull this down. We need a bigger brush. Brush settings. Alright. Let's pull that down. You want the forehead to still be there. We'll be able to hide some of this stuff with the hair shape as well. We want to get the back of the head looking good too. Alright. The curve here a little bit different. Probably a little bit too wide on the face. Let's dial that back in. Dig out either. Okay. Mic is a bit crackly. Alright. Let's see. Is it because like there's white noise? Or because I have like another computer running behind me? Probably need a different mic. It's plugged in via USB instead of like using a proper like audio setup. So it could be that. Anyway, I don't know if there's much I can do. Maybe it's too loud. I can dial down the decibels a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit better. Not popping. We'll see. I sound like a robot. Maybe that's just how my voice sounds. That's unfortunate. I think I set up a different audio device. Properties. Settings. Audio. Global audio devices. Let's see, I can set up. I have another microphone that's connected to my camera. I can switch to that one. See if let me just add it as a capture device. Just do that. Audio input. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking into it. Let's try that. Okay. I'm gonna kill this one. Alright, how does that one sound comparatively? I know there's gonna be a lot more white noise because this one picks up a lot of room sound. What's weird is I didn't have any problems with this particular microphone when I was recording these videos, but it also could be that I'm plugged in via my laptop now instead of my desktop computer. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Back to it. So let's see what this looks like from the front view. Yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. Maybe I can like bring this in just a little bit. Okay, great.
I'm glad that sounds better. I'll have to look into a different audio setup. Alright, so that's looking good. The thickness of the mouth, I'm not crazy about, so we're going to have to move some of these volume things around. Let's go back here. I mean the base, that's the base. We don't want that. We want the mouth bag. So let's turn off this camera and look here. You can kind of see, like, from different angles, it looks a little weird. We can smooth out some of this stuff. Let's do that first. Yeah, I'm going to move my other mic out of the way. Okay. Let's see. Smooth out the head. We got the head here. That's good. It doesn't let me. Am I on the base? Yeah, I'm on the base. Okay. With this. There's our cage. I knew there was a reason why I wasn't seeing it. I'm going to use the smoothing tool. 100. Get a little bit bigger. You just click and it smooths it out. Oop, not symmetrical. That's what we want. So it smooths it out on both sides. That's too much smoothing, ironically. Alright, let's get that a little bit better. That looks a lot better. Okay, let's move the mouth bag out now. So for this one, it's a matter of positioning the sphere that cuts out the mouth. So I'm going to move this out just a touch. And we don't want it to be out too far, because then it starts, like, watch what happens when I pull this out. See how it, like, cuts the mouth out? That looks super weird. So we got to be careful with stuff like that. Maybe I can just move it down. Ooh. Move it down. Maybe that would help. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And we can smooth some of this stuff out after we get the character dialed in. Okay, so let's see. Ears. I think we can get the ears looking a little bit better than this. So let's get the ears dialed in. We got them already turned a little bit. Maybe we can flatten them, maybe. So you can kind of see, like, it updates the entire model. And because this is using a symmetry object, it updates the ear on the other side. Let's move those a little lower. Let's see what that looks like from the camera view. That looks good. Yeah. Okay. Let's get the eyebrows moved out. Eyebrows, where are you? I'm glad I named all my layers here, because that would not be good if I didn't name my layers. Move both these out. Oh, I'm on the base. That's the problem. All right. Eyebrows. That's okay. They're still getting clipped a little bit. And I'll rotate these a little bit to match the new head shape. And again, these are in a symmetry object. I can get these to lay a little bit more flat to the head. See how they kind of, like, stick out in a weird way. Once I update the FFD, it'll better conform to the shape of the head. So you have to do this manually. You select the points of the FFD, and then you drag them. And an FFD, like, distorts the geometry that is in the FFD. So now they look a little bit more dialed in to the the shape of the head. We want to rotate these just a little bit, and we can like do crazy stuff with expression too with these. Like, it's interesting because when you want to get the expression of the face good, right, it's good to look at it from this view, and then like if you want them to look angry, like you can tilt them down. If you want them to be surprised, again, you can like move them up. I'm going to turn on the global setting here, so you can put those like way up here and get them more like closer to the eye. This one I want it to be more like just like an even looking expression, happy. And I wonder if I could add some eyelids in here, because like it's got the eyes are just like wide open, and it looks cool, but like should I add like an eyelid in there? And you can do that again with the volume builder. You basically have to take a sphere. Let's see how to do that. Let's just do that right here. We're going to create a sphere, and then we're going to shrink it down because we don't want it to be that huge. Again, shrink it down. And the way I did this with some other characters was I go to the sphere object. We're not going to put it into the volume builder yet, but I turned this into a hemisphere, and you'll notice that it's just the top of the sphere, so perfect like eyelid shape that you can like open and close at will. Hey Adrian, what's up, man? And I'm assuming Unfold, that's Vic, so hey Vic. Let's check this out here. So we get these eyelids lined up. One thing to know about volume builders is I'm pretty sure it won't add to the volume unless you close the object. So before we put this in place, we have to make this editable. So right now it's a parametric object, means that you can like change the values of the sphere, make it like big. You can update the number of segments. That's not super important for us right now. So you just click this little button in the upper left, make editable, and then we have to go to the faces, and you go to mesh, add, close polygon hole, and see how it makes like this outline for all that. And we don't need like some fancy geometry to close this up. All we need is like one big n-gon, and then you dial this in. I mean, you can kind of get some cool eyelid looking stuff here. And you can tilt these, right, wherever you want. We want these to be kind of natural looking, so we'll probably tilt them a little bit. I want to get this kind of like lined up there. Tilt a little bit, so when you open it, it looks a little bit more natural. You'll see what it looks like when we add these to the volume builder. Oops. And then we got to put it in a symmetry. So let's put that together. Just create a symmetry here, here, eyelid, top. You'll notice that it's on the other eye as well. So now when we rotate this one, it rotates the other one in a symmetrical way. And you can adjust the position there. So if we wanted to create bottom eyelid, you just copy paste. Now we have another symmetry object. Let's call this bottom. And then we'll rotate it around. We'll go click on the object itself, rotate it around 180 degrees. Actually a little bit, well, yeah, that'd be probably okay. And then we can just open it like this. We might need to actually position it a little bit differently to get it to look all right with the eye. And this is going to look super weird, like outside of the volume builder, because it's just the polygons. But let's add these to the volume builder real quick. Both of them at the same time. We're just going to drag them right into the volume builder object. Go into the settings for the volume builder, and you notice it's updated already. So that's good. Let's move them inside the SDF smooth. And we get some like soft eyelids, which look really nice. So now the eyes are like contained. We have like a little bit of a ridge for the eyebrow. And that's looking good. So let's see what happens. Probably want to get, so if I wanted to like drag just parts of this mesh out, let's say I wanted more eyebrow. Oop, you can see that happening. So let's just get that and get it a little bit more defined. And again, do the same thing up here. So you don't always have to use the sculpt brush. You can just use the polygon or the edge selection. And again, it might look weird like from the side, but once we add hair in here, it's gonna look really nice. So now we gotta change the eyebrows again. Let's get those up. That looks pretty good. I gotta rotate them. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Make a big difference. So yeah, now we have a nice look. It looks kind of like not interested right now. So we're going to get the eyelid top. We're going to open that up a little bit. And they're going to open the eyebrows at the bottom. Let's see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Okay. And I think Alex wanted the mouth to be a little bit more closed than this, so we're gonna have to tweak that next. We'll go into here. The mouth opening is set here, and this is like a pill shape with an FFD on it. Again, like FFDs are like super cool with adjusting things, so we can change like all kinds of stuff here to get these looking exactly how we want them to. So let's just adjust the FFD again, go into the point selection, and we can select, we got to get the bottom points over here too, and then just move these up. Select all these, select all these. You can do animations directly in C4D. Yes. I'm not going to be doing any in this particular video, but like you can keyframe stuff. You can't keyframe like these points on an FFD. You have to like add what's called a pose morph to them. Like you change, you add like a pose morph tag to this, and then you select the points and select a start and end point for the pose morph. And you can create different pose morphs to create different animations, and then you can keyframe the pose morph, which will let you, like if you wanted to have the mouth open and close or make different mouth shapes, you could actually keyframe that, and it should work. With volume builder stuff, it's a little bit different, but it works really well. But yes, you can do all kinds of animation in Cinema. Move the mouth down a little bit. And when you do that, you have to move other objects too. So let's move the teeth. He wanted different teeth too, so we got to create those teeth. Let's just turn these teeth off. Move the tongue. And the mouth is starting to look a little weird, you notice. It's, jeez. Let me move this camera object to the top of my stack, so I can turn it off and on a little bit easier. So let's go back into the mouth bag, and since the mouth is a little bit lower now, I have to move this down, and I'm going to come out of the camera, make sure it's looking okay. Alright, let's try this. Let's move the nose. Let's see, how does his nose look? I can probably change his nose a bit. Let's tilt it. I don't want it to look like that, really. But you get the idea. can actually duplicate this. Let's do that. Let's duplicate this. Oops. Oh, what's going on? All right, so this is the nose bridge. And then I'll go into the volume builder. Nose bridge can go down to where the other nose is, down here. And since these are the same object right now, I can tilt one, and it adds to the shape of the face. So let's move the nose down. Alright, so that is looking pretty good actually. Let's make sure that that shading isn't going to look super weird. You can grab both of these at the same time and move them. You want to make sure to select the coordinate system for the world instead of the object, because then it'll move each object in its own coordinates. So that nose looks like a good position to match his. So let's get the teeth set. All right, let's see. We're going to use a tube object for this. We got to make this a lot smaller. And because you want it to look like an actual set of teeth like in here. So let's move this out so you can see what I'm talking about. So we're not going to see all of this, so we don't have to get it like exactly right. All we have to do is select the inner boundary to adjust the inner boundary. This, I'm sure there's a better way to do this. And since we're only going to really be seeing the front of the teeth, we want to make sure that this looks like, you know, teeth shaped. So right now it's centered in the face, and we want to tilt it a little bit to match like the shape of the mouth. It has that little fun look to it. And then we put our teeth shader on there, so when we render it, it's going to look good. And we don't want perfectly square teeth. We want them to be rounded a bit. So let's get these teeth to be a little bit thinner. And then what we're going to do is put this in a subsurface division. And you'll notice how the teeth inside there rounded themselves. That's because this subdivision surface is smoothing out the geometry. And you can change things like the cap. If you add more segments of the cap, you'll notice it gets more square. But I like that rounded look for this. We push this up so that's closer to the front edge of the mouth. And then that looks pretty good. And we're gonna let's see, look at this. Okay, so that's good. Let me move this down just a little bit. Get that over. So it's all about the look in the camera, right? I mean, like, we can get everything looking good here, but if it doesn't look good in the camera, then that's not good. So we got that. So next, let me make the neck a little bit wider. All right, so let's get this, and we can just update this dynamically, and it'll change for us. So that's good. All right, so that looks pretty good. The nose looking good, the eyes are looking good, ears. Yeah. Hey Dane, what's up? Thanks, dude. All right, so we got that looking good. Oh man, I keep changing the camera. I have such bad camera angle etiquette. So that's looking good. Let's get the hair going now. So let's see. Alex has his hair parted on the other side, so we want that to look exactly the way he wants it to look. So let's go into our hair object again. So we have two of these. So again, we want to look at them from this view. The height actually looks pretty good for Let's move them down a little bit. And we got the sideburns, okay. You probably, I don't know, I mean, what do we think about the forehead? Is that forehead good? Do we need more forehead? Hey, Adarsh. Good to see you, man. All right, let's see here. Maybe I can move his. Man, I feel like his forehead's not big enough. Let's just move the head up, the hair up, and then we'll grab the head, and we'll give him a little bit larger forehead this way. Let's go back to the head volume, the head shape. We'll grab some of this geometry here. There we go. And again, this might look weird if we turn off this, like when you go to the side, like it's not super flat. But we can fix that a little bit. All right, let's get this up. Okay. Go back into the camera, see how that looks. All right, I'm a little bit more happy with that. Looks pretty good to me. So let's flip the hair because we want it parted the right way. So let's go into our hair objects. We want to just flip these around. So this is the part that I want to always kind of I struggle with, because you want to, like, the size. I think if you just put a negative sign in here, it flips it. Same thing with this. Yeah, it works. But you'll notice, like, the hair is not positioned exactly right. So let's come out of this. He's got some interesting hair situations in the back, and we'll have to change that. So let's take the hair on the. We can rename these now because it's flipped. So this will be hair right, hair left. All right, so we're going to move this one a little bit. It'll look better now, but we can tweak it by using the grab tool. So move this one to the right a little bit too. So again, still not perfect, but better. So let's get that dialed in. Let's get this. I'm going to go into the object itself. This. Let's get this pulled out. So we want to do a bunch of stuff. We don't need the symmetry, so let's turn that off. Size can be a little bit different. Probably hear some rumbling upstairs. My family just got home from shopping, so let's get this pulled out. We want screen. Let's do that. It's not pulling everything. Preview mode, screen, on surface, direction, settings, surface distance, mouse. Oh, sorry, I have to check back face, right? Yeah, it pulls all of it out. All right, that's what I want. So we want the sideburns to actually look decent, right? So again, this is all about, like, just playing around with it. If we were doing this like in ZBrush, it'd be the exact same thing. But with this particular method, like, you don't need to go into ZBrush. You can just kind of drag the geometry around and get the look you want. So let's see, the sideburns, those are a good position. We can probably pull this back out. We're going to be modeling a hat too, so we'll have to create a separate set for the hat. And we don't necessarily need to worry about the back side of the head either, because like this render, like you're only going to see the front side. So let's get this dialed in here so that we have good sideburn situation. All right. Yeah, the ear is kind of affecting like where it clips, but when you look at it in camera, you don't see those little details. We could probably pull it up just a little bit to match the look. And let's look at his hair. Okay, kind of looks. Go back to the left side. Flattens out a bit more. I could probably bring this down. And let's render this to see what it looks like. We don't have camera updates turned on. It's okay. And all right, let's see. It looks pretty good. We can probably move it all down just a little bit, actually. Maybe there's too much teeth as it stands right now, and the teeth don't curve enough. So let's get the new teeth. I think that's this. Teeth. New. We're going to turn off the render update. All right, let's get that going. So I'm going to do like an FFD on the teeth, so you can kind of see the process for that. Where is FFD? I think this is here. Here? No. Here. This is where it is. Okay. FFD. Good. So this is going to be the size, so I want to parent it, or make it a child, and that's fine. So let's go into the point selection. I'm going to grab these sides and just pull them up. It curves the teeth. And then I can invert this selection to drag the middle down. So now, when we look at this, like the teeth have like a little bit of a curve to it. That's what we want. A little bit more natural look. Yeah, that's what I want. Maybe I can go back out at FFD and just move these down a little bit. Oops. Alright, that's looking good. Josh, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. If you guys have any questions at all, just let me know. Happy to answer. Been going for 40 minutes on this avatar here. We should be... I got the face pretty much where I want it. So it's looking good. So let's render this. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks good. Could probably. I wonder if I want to if I wanted to tilt these up. I even move the eyes in a different direction. So one cool thing about the way I built these is that these eyes I can adjust individually. Let's see here. Is that gonna work? Yeah. Yes, I can drag these wherever I want. Make them look at the camera. Make them look off the camera. Make them look up at the sky. Is he going to not have any eye whites at all? It'd be kind of creepy, right? That's not what we want. We want them to be like maybe like that. Maybe tilt it out a little bit. Not looking quite at the camera, but still got some life in them. All right. Yeah, so that's looking good. Always good to take like a step back and just look at it objectively. Maybe the bridge of the nose could be narrower. So we can go into that, the head volume builder again, and we can change the width of the bridge, and it updates, and maybe make the base a little bit wider. Ooh, yeah, it's a little too wide. Okay. That's looking better to me. Yeah, that's looking good. Maybe like the hair could have a little bit more, like it comes further forward on his forehead. Let's update some of that. So let's pause that. Go back into the hair. Let's get this. We'll go back into the FFD, or the volume builder thing. Oop, nope. You pull this forward. Same thing with the top of the hair. Pull that forward a little bit. Still want to give him some amount of a forehead, but have it look more like in the reference here. So let's see, how's that look? Looks good. Yep. All right, so I think we're good there. Next, we're going to do a hat. So I like to do these pretty simply again. I'm going to try a new way of doing this because, well, I don't know. I mean, we only really need... I'm just going to make the hat shape in this stream. Like, if I need to create this whole, like, graphic, I'll have to do that somewhere else, like in Figma or Illustrator or something like that. Maybe I'll try to find like a vector of that, and then I won't have just new sets of hair because the hat will clip through. It looks like the bill of the hat, the brim of the hat, is like kind of not as super curved, so we'll want to do that. So I basically start with some primitive shapes for the hat. Again, with a sphere to start out. We'll get it roughly the size of his head, and we can dial this in later. And then we again use a hemisphere. So that hemisphere looks like that. And since a hat doesn't sit on your head necessarily like this, it's going to sit a little bit differently. You want to make sure that you position it the right way so it tilts back a bit, right? And you can position that here. We can make this a little bit wider. Position it maybe a little bit further back. And we'll pull up some of this stuff here to make it fit a little bit better, because it's not fitting too great now. So let's see. Yep, we have... Alright, so let's get that. I think that shape is good. So let's look at the geometry that we got. Again, not too simple or not too hard to do here, but you take an edge selection here. It's about right for that hat. And then using extrusion, you hold Control and just drag out. And voila, you have your hat. Not much else you need to do other than maybe making it curved. And you can do that pretty easily by selecting some of these polygons or the end points and adjusting them. So we want the edges to curve down a little bit. So I take these, pull them down. And then pull these down, and this one can go up a little bit. These two can go up a little bit. Not quite there yet. Actually, we probably want all of these to come down. So let's do that. Select the edges and pull these down, because it kind of comes out from the head after being extruded. And then the curve, I want to make sure it looks good in camera. Not there yet. Alright. Let's get that down. That should be a little bit better. Alright, these got to get straightened out. So let's take these, bring them up. Let's see. Alright, let's resize. And drag them in like this. Do the same thing with the next set. And bring them in a little bit. Bring these in a little bit. So it's looking a little bit more symmetrical. And then pull these out. Because I pulled them out, I need to pull them in a little bit. Alright, so that's looking pretty good actually. Let's look at that. Let's see how that looks here. So again, I mean it does look okay. Maybe not exactly. It's one of those hats that looks like it's like a dad hat style, where like you have the smaller part that it sits in, that your head sits in. So we're gonna sculpt some of this now. Let's go to this mode. Let's sculpt some of the shape. We got symmetry. Okay. Oop. Let's pull this out. Back comes out. It's all kind of done symmetrically. And again, we don't have to worry too much about the back of the hat. It's more about the front than anything. And these, this can come down, out. All right. So it look pretty good. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. So this is like the basic shape for the hat. And it fits a little weird. So let's see if I can get it a little lower on his head. Maybe more like that. Position wise. So let's adjust this a little bit more again. We get this adjusted. Pull out of here. Pull the hat out. All about those little tweaks. You don't want the geometry to clip through. And this is just like the starting point for this. So again, we zoom in here. Looks good. We can pull these in. This out. These in. That's a little bit good. Okay. All right. So we need some thickness to the hat itself. So there's a couple ways to do this, but the way I'm going to do it is the quick and dirty way. So let's duplicate this so we don't lose it and turn it off. So hat, base, and then we'll use this hat, thicker, and then we're going to extrude these. So using the extrude tool, press M, T, and you extrude. Why is it not creating caps? There we go. Okay. And then you can change the thickness of this hat. I want it to be kind of thick because like this character has like this fun kind of look to it. And then if we put this, now that we've extruded this, like we have like a good base mesh, we can add the subdivision surface. So not quite looking right just yet. Maybe we can undo some of this. And again, we'll extrude. Maybe make it a little bit thicker. Actually, one way to do this would be to put it in a subdivision surface first, go in here and extrude. So then we get to the point that we want it. So it's a little bit too smooth, and I'm going to add a loop here. So let's come out of this camera, and we're going to add a loop. So let's go M, L, add a loop right here, and it's going to tighten up the transition from the main part of the hat to the bill. So now we got like that nice edge going. Super simple. Don't really need to do much more than that. We can change the materials of things later to make this look a little bit more dialed in. So again, like it's set out a little bit from his head too much. Like you can actually see like into the hat, which is not what we want. So again, we gotta adjust things. So let's deselect these polygons. So we're not just adjusting the ones that are selected. And let's go into the grab, and let's make this bigger because we want to grab a lot of the geometry, and then just pull it in. I'm gonna come out of the camera to get this looking right. That coming in. There we go. So like this is the top, looking good. Pull that back. It's all about dialing in these details. So there's our base hat. Doesn't get clipped by the top, does it? All right, let's move this down a little bit. All right. All right, still can see into the back of the hat a little bit. So let's pull that in. There we go. Now it's hugging his head. That's what we want. 2 viewers. Awesome. I think I peaked at 5, which is sweet. Coming up on an hour for this stream. Looking good. All right, let's see. All right, so that's good. I had some other materials I used for the hat. I'll work on those later off stream, but I think this is pretty much where I want it. Let's look at this. Good. Oh, it's off center in the camera a bit. That is not good. Alright, so let's move this more. It's more in line with where we want it. Gotta update the camera. Let's go. Alright. So the brim is looking good. Head is looking good. Alright. Ears are where I want them. That looks good. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to tweak here. I think it looks good. Alex, if you're on the stream, let me know what you think. Otherwise, I'll hit you up for feedback later. Let's see if there's anything I'm missing on Twitter. Nope. Okay. Need a sip of coffee here. Okay. Could probably move the hat down a little bit. I could do facial hair. Josh, I could do facial hair a few different ways. So Vic from Unfold, I did an avatar for him, and I did like these little lines that, like, it's like little pill-shaped icon geometry pieces, and then place them manually on the face. If you wanted like stubble, you could use hair simulation to get there, but with this like more stylized look, using little pieces of geometry is probably, you know, the best bet. And I can, so if you look at the hair, or let's go to the head volume shape. Like if I were to select this and look at the actual geometry, and I turn down the geometry, Let's just see. You can see like all of these little uh, pieces are polygons that you can select once you convert um, the head geometry to a mesh. Right now, it's like simulating the mesh and dynamically updating it. But if you create a mesh from this and then create what's a polygon selection for like where the beard would be or the stubble would be, and then you scatter some geometry to it, you could, make this look like more stubbly. So it's certainly possible. It's all about dialing in the look. It's actually like with this particular style, it's a little bit harder for at least that I've from my experimentation to get the stubble to look like it fits thematically with the character, but it actually is totally possible. It just takes some dialing in. With some of the characters that I've done that have beards, it's more like create like objects in geometry and shape them to conform to the face, and then get the thickness of the beard just like by sizing the shape of the beard. So yeah, it works really well. It's just a matter of what the look you want is dialing in. And I'm actually going to be trying that with the next avatar I'm going to be doing. So we'll see how that works. Okay. I think we're good with this one. I'll share with Alex when he's available. I'm going to save this. I actually haven't saved this whole time. Oh my gosh, that would have been terrible if I didn't save. But here we go. Here's Alex's. Looking good. We'll turn it back on the quick shading. All right. Let's see what else. All right, so that one's good. We're just going to duplicate this because I did a lot of little tweaks to this one that will make sense for the next one. We're just going to turn Alex off. Call this Jeff. We'll pause updates to the geometry or the render. Turn off the hat because we don't need a hat. And let's see. I'm actually going to take a short break, and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Hopefully it's not too much white noise. Get the kids upstairs. I'm going to be starting on this next avatar. Let's look at the reference. Alright, so this is Jeff. Jeff was at the beach, so he got a little bit of a sunburn. We won't pay attention to that though. Alright, and he wants a hoodie, so we're going to be using, we're going to be zooming out this avatar a little bit to include shoulders. And maybe we can do that the very first thing. That'd be good. So we got Jeff here, Alex turned off. So let's get back to it. So we got to add a set of shoulders. So let's get the shoulders in there. So I use a sphere for that, very simple. And we want to put those in a certain place. So let's get, actually we're going to duplicate this camera and put one in there. This one is for Alex. And where'd my sphere go? It's in Jeff. Okay, good. Shoulders. And we're going to use this camera for Jeff. So now we have the camera, in two places. Or two different cameras, because we're going to change the angle a little bit. So let's let's get this positioned right by turning off the camera view and position this where we want for shoulders. And this is like super simple. Like I don't go crazy trying to model the body if there isn't going to be one. So like just basically positioning this where their proportions look, and I make this editable and then just kind of distort it. And since they're not like sphere shaped, I like to flatten it a little bit. Bring this up. Let's get that going here. So he's got some wide shoulders. That'll look good. And since this is here, we're going to zoom out, Alt, right click, drag, and then reposition the camera so it's more like this. So yeah, that looks pretty good. And we're going to be modeling a hoodie later on. So this goes into the volume builder. I'll put it right at the top, but in the volume builder itself, I want to drag it. I think is there only one smooth? Let's see how that looks. It still might be kind of blocky, so we have to put a subdivision surface on that one. And we'll name it. And since you wrapped another object in there, it moves it around in the hierarchy. So again, you want it to smooth out. So you'll notice it's smoother now, which is good. That's what we want. So that should look good. So the head shape for Jeff is a little different. He has more of like a pointy chin with the cheeks more pronounced, and we can use the actual teeth for this one. So let's turn the teeth back on and position those. We don't need the hat, so we'll delete those objects from Jeff's. Turn off these teeth and turn the new teeth on here. Let's see, these have the teeth shader. So let's just get that set. Move those here. Jeff's gonna have more of like a straight on smile, so we're gonna have to move the FFD for the mouth. So let's find that. Is there any rotation going on here? Where's the rotation? Here it is. Alright, let's see. I got it all selected, right? No? Yes. What's the first thing? What will this do? That's not good. Alright. Undo. Alright, so let's turn this. Maybe I reset it at some point. Let's make the smile more like straight on. Okay. That looks good. Maybe, and he's got more of like that, like half circle instead of like a more luminescent. So let's get that looking good. I'm gonna move the top of that 50 up a little bit. So we'll select those objects, or those points, and just move them up just a little bit. Because like you still want it to look like a smile. And if you don't, then it starts to look funky. So you have to like really be careful with some of these points, or else it starts looking unnatural. We can always change it. That's the beauty of this method that I like a lot, is like you can really get it to look exactly how you want it to look, and not have to go back and forth between something like ZBrush where you're always tweaking stuff. Alright, so let's see, I think that's the tilt. That's good. Move that down. And we got this. And look, does look a little strange with the way these are, because I have like this, the teeth are from an array modifier. So maybe tilting them a little bit would make sense, or not. I don't know. We'll see. Can probably make his mouth a little bit smaller. Let's do that. That look okay? I think that does look okay. We're gonna get the nose. Actually, let's just get the head shape right, and then we can dial everything else in. And turn off the hair again. Where are you, hair? There you go. Okay. So we got that. Good. All right. So let's go out of the camera. We're gonna give him a little bit more higher. Cheekbones situation here. The top of the head's a little wider. More chin, needs more chin. And the reason it lags again is because we have all of these volume builder objects going on, and every time you tweak them, so he's got those bigger cheekbones. So let's get those out. Oop, still too big. Let's undo 150. All right, so let's get that out. That looks good. It's better anyway. We get the face to kind of protrude out a little bit, what we want. You can always adjust the mouth area later. All right. All right, so let's get the mouth bag. Back of the head, let's see. It's a little deeper. Maybe the chin is more like pronounced, like straight out. It's a little bit better. Let's get it up like here. See how it looks from the front. Alright, he's got, when he smiles, his cheeks, his eyes like squint. So we're going to be adjusting those. Let's see how that looks real quick. Eyelid top. Oh, what happened? Let's save, just in case. Eyelid top. Let's go. Boop, boop. All right. those local coordinates. Sometimes the squinty eye look can be difficult to pull off, especially like with this. Like there's a ton of like facial muscles that you have to think about. Like how does that look? You can see like his smile looks a little weird right now, so we have to pull this out. And, like the teeth are like way far back. So you want those to be like more close. That's better. You need to adjust the mouth opening, the mouth bag shape. Alright, let's try to pull that out a little bit. What happens? Not better. Should be up a little bit. Alright, that's good. Let's see how it looks from the camera. Alright. That looks good. Okay, like the one thing you'll notice about the teeth is like they're like in this, they're like perfectly straight, right? And one thing we have to do is adjust this so that they're a little bit more like where we want. The head shape isn't quite right. It's a little bit too wide right now, so I'll have to tweak that next. Still got to get that head shape dialed in. Still on, Jeff? Okay. All right, let's get this in. It still looked like when I went to the camera view, like his cheeks are too wide. We should dial it in there. Let's get it there. All right. Chin down a little bit, looks good. Let's get that up a little bit. It's funny how these little tweaks, like, they just add up to give someone a little bit more like their personality. Without them, everyone just starts to kind of look the same. So you want to try to cater the look of the face as close as you can, and it takes some patience. I think that looks pretty good actually. And once we add like the stubble for the beard, looks like he has a little bit more red hair too, so I'll have to tweak the color of the material. Eyebrows too, they have a little bit of stuff to them. Let me, I have to check something in my browser there to see what's going on. Switch to... Cinema. All right. So let's get the teeth the way we want them. So one way to do this is you have to basically convert the array to objects that you can control. So we'll right-click on the array and do current state object. We'll hide the array and go in here. You'll notice each one of these teeth is selectable, which is cool. So once we get to these, we gotta find out which one's which. So let's get all these teeth out of these little containers, because we don't want them in there. select these individually. You can see they highlight. So the middle teeth are good. We want to take the next two out. So these two, gonna move those up just a touch. Just enough, right? You don't want to go too much. Then the next ones after that. Maybe even too much there. Can move those together. So now there's just enough of a step to give them a little bit more realism, even though we're going for a stylized look. We'll move the ones up in the back because you don't really see them that much. So let's see, that looks good. I think the nose, I need to move the nose up a little bit. So let's get the nose next. And again, because it's all editable, we can just drag this up. And he's got a little bit of a wider nose. I can move it in just a touch too. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm gonna have to convert this to an editable object and then just make it wider. Let's see. Is that good? Is that good? Profile. Okay. I'm gonna try something with this, with the head shape. I'm gonna add up like a brow to it. So again, we're gonna try a sphere. We're gonna create a sphere here, and then get this to the brow. Again, it's gonna be a hemisphere. Gonna make it editable. And then we gotta go into polygon, selection, mesh, add, close polygon hole. Again, close it. Boom. This is gonna look funny when I drag it into the volume builder, but we're gonna do it anyway. Let's get that in there. As I promised, it's weird. Alright, brown. Alright, so let's get this into the smooth. I'm just going to smooth it out. Obviously, we don't want his brow to look like that. So, we got to change its dimensions. We can make it smaller than that even. And then we want to position it. And like anything, it requires tweaking. So, gotta like... oh man, wonder if I... maybe that's a better way to do it. Yeah, that's a better way to do it. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new object from the head geometry. So this isn't gonna work. I think it'll take too much tweaking. So I go to the head shape, and I can select just these. So let's try this. Let's do a loop selection. UL. No, I don't want those. That's not a loop. All right, and then I just select these other polygons up here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, and then I'm going to split. So it'll create like a duplicate of those polygons inside the volume builder, ready to go. So I'll call this brow, and again, put it in a subdivision. Call it brow. And in here, we have to move it. Let's put it down by the head. Okay. All right, so that's good, but you can't see it yet because we haven't edited it. It's interesting. I didn't need to close it. I probably still do. All right, so let's do that. Mesh, add, close polygon. All right, so that's good. And it kind of rounded it off because we're using the subdivision surface. So I can probably add a loop cut right there. Go back, and then let's deselect these polygons. Deselect it? No. All right, there we go. All right, so now we have some new geometry to play with that's only on the top of the head. So let's just bring it out. Ooh, okay. Let's see, how's that look? That looks weird. That's what it looks like. Okay. How can I do this? Maybe this just isn't a good idea. Like, I want the brow to look the way his brow does. It just means I gotta tweak it more. What does it look like in camera? It's like what I don't want it to look is like to look super weird in camera. I mean, like his brow kind of, it just needs the eyebrows moved out. And down. Let's try. Okay. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're enjoying this mess as I figure out how to get details to look like someone. It's not always pretty figuring out all this stuff, but the end result usually looks great. Alright, so that, let's see what it looks like rendered. This actually looks decent. Maybe it needs to be wider. Brow. Nope. Ugh. I don't want it to look like Cro-Magnon, man. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Kind of goes up. His eyebrows. Kind of sitting there like that. I squint. And I still want to bring his cheeks out a little bit because they're rounded. They're more rounded. I'm gonna have to pull out like points. Wait, this one? Yeah, this one. Let's try pulling those out. How's that look? Yeah. These, maybe? So we want it to be symmetrical, right? Actually, that looks pretty good. Now these have to come out just a touch. probably have to. No, well, I don't know. Maybe it is okay. Should I move his nose up? His ears. His ears are a little higher. We'll move the whole thing up. Maybe the ears a little bit smaller too. Okay. It's not bad. Let's duplicate this hair material. Hair Jeff. Face. Alright, let's see what we can do. A little bit lighter. A little bit more orange. Alright. Let's put that on the eyebrows. Again, check out this. Alright, so let's try the tongue's clipping through his neck. It's hilarious. Alright, let's move this, let's make this tongue a little bit smaller. Alright. And the neck is getting kind of weird there. I think I moved it up a little bit too much. Where are you, neck? There you are. Nope. Wait, am I in the wrong one? Yes, I am. Neck, where are you? There you are, neck. Let's just make this bigger. Maybe make his neck a little bit, a little bit wider. It's all about that variation, you know? And let's see. Alright, so let's bring the hair back. I'm going to do the beard last because that's the part I'm dreading most. He has a similar... He doesn't have as much volume in his hair on the left side. So let's take this hair. And we're going to... It's like more flat along the top. So let's get that dialed in. Oh. I can drag that in. See, it's already starting to look more like Jeff. His hair kind of comes up. Comes. And then. Alright, so we got this. It does have a bit of a part, but it's not as pronounced. So we're going to flatten that out. And then bring the hair forward maybe a little bit more. How's that looking there? Does that look like Jeff? Maybe the cheeks can be wider. Jumping around. One thing to the next. That's Alex. Let's stay where we're supposed to be. Alright, so we got the head selected. We don't want that. Let's grab here. looks, yeah. Okay, maybe the top of his head is a little bit more like square. And then the hair, and yeah. I gotta flatten the hair a little bit. Left. I want to make him look like he's balding. Do I have symmetry on? I don't want symmetry. All right. Anyone have any questions about what's going on, what I'm doing? I'm trying to explain everything while I'm doing it. Flow of thought. Maybe you can pull that back in so I don't see the hair in the back. It looks good. Maybe his forehead. Maybe more forehead. This can come out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, okay. It looks pretty good. Let's see what it looks like in render. Maybe the chin isn't big enough. Yeah, that's not quite it yet. It's like his face, the bottom part of his face isn't quite right. So let's get his hair. Where's the head here? So we gotta put the symmetry back on. Crank it up again. Let's make his chin bigger. It's almost like his head was like too small for his body. Hey Tina, what's up, man? Just tuning in? Yeah, that does look a little bit better. Let's turn that on again. I don't know why my computer is doing this, but it like keeps saying like it's just running on battery power, but it's obviously plugged in. Probably affecting what it looks like. I probably need to pull his tongue forward. Like yeah, he looks too like thick jawed right now. That's closer. The beard is definitely going to help. All right, let's... Man, I'm getting tons of spam calls lately, and they all like say that they all say they're from Michigan, because that's where I live, and you answer, and it's like they say Austin, and my name is obviously not Austin. It's Ben. It's like, what are they doing? Who knows? And they never leave a voicemail, so who knows what they want? Probably just one of those like car scams where they're trying to get you like to pay money for some kind of like warranty. Oh yeah, no worries, man. You can always zoom back through the stream to check out the highlights. I'm on the second avatar now. We've got the first one blocked out for Alex, and now we're on the second one for Jeff. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your kind words. I appreciate it. It's a fun experience. It's funny because when I work on my own, I get distracted so easily. Like I'll go to Twitter, I'll go to Reddit, just because like you get stuck on something and you wanna not think about it for a minute. But with like a stream, you can't do that. Like you kind of have to stick it out, even if you aren't feeling it. All right, so let's try to get this. Maybe his smile needs to be a little bit smaller. Maybe that's the thing. Like the smile's too big. No. Like his eyes look a little too tight. Maybe we need to bring his eyes out. Let's try that. Eyes. Select eyes. Move them out. Ooh. A little bit better. Yeah. We want him looking in a different direction. Can't have it be the same, right? Alright, so he's gonna look off in the distance this way. Maybe like up in the sky. Hopeful. My meager connection is surviving so far, it seems. I have 200 down, but only 10 up. So like, I was worried that it just wouldn't be able to handle the stream, but it's actually doing pretty good. All right, so we're gonna go back to the hair. Off the camera. Pull his hair forward a little bit. A little bit, so it's a little bit more visible. Yeah, I think his mouth needs to be just a touch lower. Let's tweak it. So I can select all those objects. So let's see, we have the so in the head volume, we want the mouth opening. We want the mouth opening. We want the mouth bag. We want the teeth. And we want the tongue. And we don't want to move them that way. We want them... Yeah, I didn't select the world origins. So let's do that. Huh. It's tough to dial in these shapes sometimes. That's pretty good. He's got less of a chin now. There's more room for when I add the stubble. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, so his eyebrows are a little longer. So let's get those set. How does that work? There we go. I gotta do this. Fit to parent. Alright, so that's good. Let's render that again. See how that looks. Better. Hopefully the beard really makes it. And the cheeks, I just gotta like, he's got like the big cheekbones. Maybe I can add something to the head. Let's try that. I'm gonna add it straight away. Cheekbone, and then we'll create a symmetry object. It's way up here, cheekbone, Symmetry. And then this, we're gonna move this out of here real quick. Alright, let's make you smaller. Put you over here. Oh, we got a kiddo. Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself. Thanks for your patience. Kiddo popped in. You know, you gotta, when you're a dad, you gotta take a break sometimes. I'm gonna be done here in probably about 45 minutes. We'll see. Oh, let's not do that too much. All right, so we gotta position these relatively close to where we want them. AirPods Max commercial, yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's funny when I put together that little animation, I was like, it looks almost Apple-esque. Like it wasn't my goal necessarily, but they do have that like line art when they like to animate stuff for their live streams. And I love Apple's commercials. Their motion graphics are always on point. Thanks, Jeff. Let me know if you want to see any tweaks. Look, you can live critique. Welcome to the stream. I'm working on your cheekbones right now because I want you to look exactly like you do in the photo. Well, as close as I can anyway. All right, so I got that cheekbones. That in there. I gotta smooth it out. Might need to put this in and we don't want him to look like a munchkin necessarily. Pull this in just a little bit. Does that look like in camera? Let's get these scaled up just a little bit. Nope, I'm moving them. I don't want to move them. All right. Yeah, I mean that does like have the roundiness I want. Move these down a little bit. See what that looks like in render. Yeah, not bad. Maybe I can adjust the eyelids on the bottom. Be out a little bit. Boom. All right, let's get that. Ooh, let's turn off the render update there. Push that out. And then I'll rotate. Get some of that squintiness from the photo. You don't want to overdo it though, because then it ends up looking like, I don't know, not as interesting. So much of this is just like tweaking small details until it looks exactly the way you want it to look. Alright, so cheekbones I need to get that, and then make these just maybe wider. And tilted. And then move these up, maybe. See how that looks in render. I feel like maybe the eyes aren't low enough. Maybe that's what's throwing it off. And the cheekbones are still a little bit, I don't know, they look a little bit too pronounced. Let's pull it back. Pull it back. Can have a little bit. Oh, geez. It's so hard to like tweak these just so slightly. Alright. Still a little bit of the roundedness in the cheeks. Maybe if I bring the eyes. So I have to select the eyelids. And I need the eyebrows. And I need the eyes. Eye holes, which is what like cuts it out from the head, and then the eyes themselves. Then I can move all these down. Yes. Man, it is like such a subtle thing, my gosh. Alright, let's try moving the eyes alone out. That looks too intense. Looks just insane. We don't want insane. Alright? Eyebrows up. And we want the brow down maybe a little bit. Brow. All right. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Like maybe the nose can come out a little bit so we can see it better. Nose bridge. Come up. I know some people probably watching this stream would think like, man, this would be so much easier if you're in ZBrush. Well, maybe. I like this method though. Like it's fun to make it stuff like this. You can just tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and all the little underlying shapes, whereas in ZBrush you have to like bake down booleans and it's just hard to do. At least for me. I'm sure if I had, 10 years of experience in ZBrush, then it would make for a faster deal. All right, so let's do some beard stuff. So the way I was thinking about doing this is taking this head volume shape and just using like a selection from it. So let's do that. Let's do convert our current state to object. And we're going to save because who knows if it's going to crash. I'm going to pause this. And now that we have this, we can look at like the line. So this is all the geometry we have, which is like way too much. So I have this plugin that I use called Quad Remesher. We're just going to remesh this so that there's less polygons. 5,000 should be okay. I mean, we could do symmetry, but let's see how it looks without. This takes a minute to run. So let this sit and wait. This is a third-party plugin. It's not part of Cinema 4D. Works pretty good though, my experience. All right, so now that we have this, we don't need to look at the head geometry anymore. This is like the geometry that we have now, and it's not perfect. I could probably redo it with symmetry. Let's try that. Oh no. So let's try that. I think we need X symmetry, so let's go do quad remesher, symmetry X, remesh. That might not be the right axis. I don't know. We'll see. If it doesn't look right once it remeshes, then we'll know. Hey, look at that. All right, it does look right. Great. All right. Yeah. Tina says, yeah, the most advantage of this method over ZBrush is you don't really have to cry by the end of the day. Exactly. And my hand, like, I don't know what it is, the way I write all the time, I grip like pencils very hard. So when using ZBrush, you really don't want to use it with a mouse. And so I have like a tablet that I can draw on if I really need to. But this is much more ergonomically friendly for me. So we have some geometry here that we can work with for the beard. So what we want to do is create a selection for the beard. So looking at him, looking at Jeff, like he has like the stubble that comes down from his sideburn area and it goes up over his lip just a little bit on his cheek. So what we can do is come out of the camera view and get some of that going. We can make selections here. So let's get some selection. We're going to use just this live selection tool and try to get a rough shape for how his beard goes. And we're going to get it right only on one side because we want it to mirror. Right? Comes up on his lip there. Okay. Maybe like that. Okay. Not bad. Maybe those two. And then we'll get some of his lip. Let's punch in a little bit so we don't get his whole lip. So we still want that stylized look. We We can always deselect some polygons later if we don't like the ones that we got. Maybe those. Let's deselect here. Maybe that one. So let's see what that looks like. It looks about right. Maybe like that. And there's gonna be like a patch near here. I don't know, maybe we keep it like that. So then you go select, mirror selection. Boom, we have our beard selection. I'm going to go up a little bit here. And that looks good. Maybe I can do more here. Just a couple more. Alright, so we're going to go to select. And then store selection. We'll call this beard selection. And what we're going to do is hide this and turn back on the volume mesher. Go back to quick shading. So what we do, we have that selection stored. And the next we're going to create like the little hair object. And we're going to see how this works. This might not look that great, but we'll see. We'll see if we can dial it in. So I like to use a little pill shape. I'm going to pull this out here because it doesn't really matter where it goes. Make this a little longer and thinner. Make it a lot smaller. And we're going to give this the same. So what we're going to do is put this capsule, because this is like the elemental object for his beard, and it's going to be duplicated a bunch of times on his face, and that'll hopefully look like a beard, and we'll be able to control some directionality just a little bit, nothing super crazy. So let's see how that works. Alright, so we got Octane Scatter. We put this capsule inside of that, and it's not going to know where to scatter it yet. But we're going to do surface. And we're going to drag this selection. Hopefully, let's save this because this might crash it. We'll see. And we crashed. Alright. Sweet. Oh, man. Yeah, it crashed. Alright. One moment while I restart. I think I know why it didn't work. I'm still rebooting Cinema. I used the surface, and you're supposed to put like a whole object in there. So when you put a selection into that, I think it just can't handle it. So womp womp, lesson learned. I always forget which method you're supposed to use. Alright, so I still have my Octane scatter, vertex map. I'm gonna try it and spare you the pain of watching it crash again. Okay. Surface. Is it because... Maybe I have to put the whole thing in there. Let's try that. It's gonna crash again if I put this in here. Yep. Nope, it didn't. But still not working. Oh, you can all see what this looks like here. Maybe I should just limit the number of polygons. Like I should just make the surface only that thing, and then instead of having to do a selection, maybe I'll do that. Make select. Let's just delete this Octane scatter so it doesn't break. Alright, I'll switch back to my view here. Sorry, I got the stuff running away upstairs. I think they're making a smoothie, which sounds delicious, I must admit. Sometimes when you're doing 3D stuff, you just gotta figure out what to do. So let's turn this back on. We can view it. We're going to select it, and then we're going to split this out. I'm going to delete this vertex selection from this. I'm going to hide this, and now we have only this. So as long as I'm going to save it again. Octane scatter, put the capsule in there, and then go in Octane scatter for surface, and put the that in there. Hey, it worked. So now you can see the and I can turn off the visibility for this. Actually, doesn't look too bad. So let's see if we can get this to look a little different. Can I rotate this, and does it change their orientation? No. Can I rotate these? Does it change the orientation? No. But I think I can go into here and rotate X. Let's try. I want it to like go like 45 degrees. No, it's not gonna work. 45, no. 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 Okay. Scale. So I want to randomize this a little bit. A little too even looking as it stands. Let's save since we got it working. And then we're going to put this in what do I want? I want to effector. I think that's in these, isn't it? Random, yep. Put random effectors, random in there. You notice it goes when they explode out from the face. That's because the random effector parameters are defaulted to position, and we really don't want that. We want maybe some variation on scale, uniform scale, 0.5. And that'll randomize the scale of the things. And I can turn on this. Let's see what 45 degrees does. Nothing really. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Although maybe the scale is too much. Maybe the scale isn't working. Let's turn position back on and change this to like 1, 1, 1. And maybe these capsules, like, sometimes the stylized look that you want is like less. So going back into the distribution, change it to like 500. So then it's more sparse. Even like 100, much less. But maybe 1,000's good. And we can just change the size of these. I'm going to create a different shader. Let's see, I'm going to make this a... Well, glossy is good. But I want like there to be some color variation in there to match Jeff's facial hair. But I do want more specular in here. Maybe like the roughness. I gotta tone down the roughness. 2.5, so we get more like shiny little hairs. I'm not gonna see any updates until I update this. So let's Jeff beard. Put that there. And it looks like this is even like more lighter. Oh, we got a crying kiddo. Hold on one second, everyone. We're back. All right. Let's go into the node editor for this. And since the diffuse color, I want there to be like a gradient, right? What's up, Dave? Gradient. We want this color to be like there, and then get that going, maybe more like a orangish. It's almost, yeah, I mean, that could look good. All right, so let's try lightening these up a bit. All right, so let's take this in here, boop, and then random. Can I put a random in here? Random color. Boom. Is that plugged into the texture? I think that should give us some variation. Let's try making this bigger. What happens? How weird does it look? Oh, yeah, looks like he's got some kind of disease. I don't want that. Make it a little thicker. All right. Yep, it's a bend stream. All right. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I think it's just like the lip isn't thick enough. Like I gotta get more density. I mean, I could probably figure out how to do this later. If I turn this up, make it more. Ooh. I need to make these thinner. $3,000. Oh, yeah. It looks pretty good. Jeff will be the ultimate decider here if it actually is up to par. I think I'm tired of looking at his naked shoulders. What do y'all think? I think we need some clothing going on here. And he's gonna have let's see, I think he's got a hoodie. Where's the hoodie reference? So this should be fun. But the basic part of it, and we start with the black part with like the white t-shirt coming out. And the beard looks pretty good. I mean, the colors I think could use work, and I think this is supposed to work in the way that I want it to look, where like the color variation, maybe the color variation needs to be more pronounced in my gradient. Like it's not like dark enough and not light enough. And the differences here. It's almost like super blonde or even gray. Another kiddo, hold on. I think it's gonna be time for a break here soon, gang. Making some good progress. I want to get this the hoodie set though, or at least a start of the hoodie. We'll save this because we don't want it to crash. Definitely not. All right, so we'll dial in the look for this for the hair a little bit later. Maybe one more tweak to the color, make it more red, orange. Warmer. And you can kind of see that, like it doesn't resolve because I don't have a whole lot of samples going on right now, but it looks pretty good. Anyway, okay. Let's get started with the hoodie. So good thing we already. Oh, we got some crying kids. Gonna have a little bit quiet stream here, gang. All right, so that's where the shirt edge is going to be. We're going to do the same thing, split this out. So it's going to be a new shape. We'll call it shirt. We'll turn off this so we don't see that. And we want to maybe scale this a little bit. So let's take this. We'll scale it this way and this way. So it has a little bit of distance from the body itself. So that's looking good. You can kind of see how that looks like here. Sounds good. And let's see, the hoodie, we're going to be like a duplicate of this. So let's take and we're going to put it on top. Hoodie, base. Again, we're going to select this. Let's delete these selections because they don't mean anything anymore. I'm going to select this. Where's my thingies? Oh, they're reset. Okay. Let's reset the axis. Center axis 2. Mesh axis, center axis 2. There we go. Okay, good. All right, so now we have our little controls here instead of where the original origin point was. So we got our hoodie. We're going to do the same thing. Scale it a little bit. We'll move this down a little bit too, so we can get some more. We don't want them to be too wide. Maybe we can change the on the base mesh. I'll change the body, wherever the body is. Where did I put the body? Shoulders. Let's make this a little narrower. Yeah, that's good. All right, so now we can adjust these. Shirt, hoodie. All right, so let's see how that looks. So I want to still be able to see the shirt. So let's maybe move the shirt up. The shirt here. It's up a little bit. The hoodie can be made a little bit wider. Actually, I gotta make both of these narrower. Because it's just gonna look ridiculous. But not too narrow, right? Might be time to go to sculpting. We'll see. We can select this loop. View out. And then lock, expand selection, move up. View out. Rotate. No, does that work? No. How to do this. I'm just trying to get the edge of the shirt to look right with the hoodie in place. It's not like super detailed to get this. It's just I want to get it to look halfway decent. I might have to delete a loop from the. Yeah, I probably will. from this to get it to look good for the hoodie, so that I can actually see some of the shirt from the hoodie, and we're going to build up the hoodie from there. So let's go back here. Let's get back to display. Because I want to be able to see the lines here. All right. So that's good. We'll get some materials on these later. Actually, let's just create them real quick. Hoodie. Shirt. We'll go into the hoodie material. Go into the hoodie material and turn this black so we can tell them apart. So now we can see them differently. Save it. And then let's look at this in the render. See how we're looking. Super basic right now. Nothing fancy. So I want to think about how I'm going to do this, the hoodie itself, because it's got like the bunched up hood like over it. Could probably take a Taurus and like just like layer them on top of each other in a volume builder, and that might look okay. Let's try it. I don't want to get into like cloth simulation here. I just want to keep it kind of simple. All right, so back to here. Pop out of the camera. I'll just pause that. Save. All right, so let's get a Taurus. Kind of wrap it around him. And we want to rotate it. It could look cool. Oh, why is this locked? That's weird. It's a hoodie. Boom, done. Not quite. So let's see. Can probably like take this and like duplicate it and rotate it again. You're really not going to see that much of this. It's more for like the camera angle. It's like when you look at it like this, it looks kind of like a hoodie. I'll probably put another smaller one. So let's duplicate this again. Up. Make you smaller. Just kind of like slot it in there. Tilt it. Let's try putting these in a volume builder, shall we? It's done. Not quite. Volume mesher. Alright, so we got this. It's probably a little bit too smoothed. Still want to smoother in there. 10, 2, 3, 4, 2.5. Alright, so let's make this okay. eat some of this bar that I got here. Starting to get a little low blood sugar. Hey, welcome back, Jeff. Getting to the hoodie. Trying to get that dialed in. Hey, thanks. Glad you think it looks good. Could probably put the material for the hoodie on here. And let's look at it from the front. Maybe a little bit too big. A little too big. So let's take this, scale it. Ooh, it looks like one of those little early to be hitting the bar. Hey, I'm not talking about that kind of bar, Dave. This is the bar. Plus, I just got back from vacation, so you know I'm allowed to have a midday brew. I actually didn't drink much beer while I was on vacation. It was more like hard seltzers. I don't know. They're good. They're light. It was like 95 degrees every day we were there, so like need something light. Now see, that looks pretty good. Like you can still see the t-shirt a little bit. Probably bring this forward a little bit. Here's what you want. We could probably like take these and sculpt them down a little bit, like just make these editable. And then bring down the front part. So like take this and just kind of pull it. Take this one. Take this one and just maybe. Not too big. That does look pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll look good. I think that looks good. I need to fix the shirt to have like the V in the center, and then put the little strings. Yeah, definitely, Jeff. Couldn't, it was so hot, man. 95 degrees in Florida every day. And then like wearing masks when we went indoors in Disney. It was like, it was brutal. We were liking the Truly hard seltzers. They have like a lemonade and just like regular hard seltzer, and the grapefruit ones are amazing. So good. All right, let's get this shirt. This is going to be the hood. I'll move this down. That in here. Where's our shirt? There it is. On the hoodie base, that's what I want. All right, so we're gonna take some of these. That's too big. Wow. 100. I even need less. Need to switch cameras here. Pause this. Line it up. There we go. It's more of like a V, right? Maybe I can bring up the hood. just a little bit to make a V. Oh, come on. I know you want it. Caching volume builder. Alright, that's not bad. And then once I put the strings in there, that'll look good. Alright. Okay. Let's put the metal rings in there first, so I know where to place the strings. I'm going to use a symmetry object there too. So we'll create a torus. Pull that in. String ring. Size. It's not, the ring is too big. Let's make it a little bit more like that, maybe. And then I'm gonna position it. Move it up. Move it over. Alright. Get that dialed in. Alright, I'll put a symmetry object in there. String rings. So then you look on the other side, it's in the same place. Yay. Alright, we're going to create a metallic object or a shader. Rings. Put that on there. We're going to turn up the roughness just a little bit. 5. Let's see how that's looking. All right. Yeah, I could probably use some kind of like smoothing on here. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that it's resting on the. I wonder if I should like bake this down. Yeah, let's do that. Current state. Oop. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna sculpt it a bit. Oh wow. Hopefully this does not break my computer. Let's remesh that. Because that's a lot of geometry. Don't need 5,000. 1,500 is probably plenty. And remesh. We're going to apply the material to it again. All right. So now comes the fun part. Let's pause the render. Come out here. That's good. So what we can do here is try to get some like folds on the fabric. Like you can bring this hood up. So like bundles. Can pull it out too. It's okay, we'll find the rings again. There we go. Get some folds going. That'll be good. Because you don't want it to look like it's just like cutting into the shirt, like you want it to go underneath it. So I'm trying to get that look going. I may need to turn off the hoodie and the shirt. Try to get it more up. And it already is. It's just not enough. Wow, that looks really messed up. Time to use a smooth brush. We got symmetry, okay. Alright. Alright, let's see how that, let's bring those rings back out. Oop, it's clipping the shirt a bit. Push that out. In a subdivision, smooth it a bit. It's gotta come out. Ooh. There we go. How are they looking? Are they in there? Down. Okay. Getting there. Getting there. Alright, let's get back to the camera. See how that looks in render. Better. A lot better. Alright, let's get those strings hanging down now. Alright, so I'm going to use create splines. That's what I got to do. Alright, so let's pause this again. This. And then go to the spline tool. I'm going to go into one of these views here. Because I want it to be coming out of this, and this is just like the Bezier curve tool that's in like Illustrator, and you can just, you know, draw your shape and it kind of comes down. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you go into a different view. Let's go up here. Alright. Alright, so now if we take these, you get little points that you can manipulate. We want to position this one. Actually, we want to position this over here. So it looks like it's coming out of the ring hole. And then we want to tweak the points so that there's some directionality. So it looks like it's kind of just hanging. That one was okay. This one we can make it like that. Maybe a little bit more dramatic. That look good. That should be okay. And we want to duplicate this one because we want 2 of them. And we don't want them to be exactly the same. So we're going to tweak it again. Maybe this one is, this point's a little different. All right, and now we need to bake the thickness on here. So this you do with using a sweep modifier. Oop, I don't want a cube. We need a circle to do it. Circle does not need to be big at all. 1 centimeter might be enough. We'll see. Let's just do 0.5. 0.75. You can kind of see it. It's right here. Very small. And then we need to put a sweep object. And then put a spline and the circle in it. And voila. We have little strings. We can make these bigger. Make them nice and chunky. That'll look cool. And put the hoodie fabric on it again. And then we can duplicate the sweep object, and delete the spline, and move the other spline in there. So now we have 2. They look nice. Okay. We don't need to create the ends because they're going to be out of view of the camera. So that's the stuff. So yeah, those are the 2 avatars that I was going to work on today. I'm going to be connecting with Jeff and Alex to handle their feedback, and you'll see the final results when we dial things in. So this is my process for creating these avatars. If you'd like one for yourself, you can reach me at my email address, hello@benfritz.com, spelled BENFRYC. And you can visit my website at benfritz.com, BENFRYC.com, to check out my work. You can also watch my demo reel there. I have a bunch of cool stuff that I've been working on over the past year. Thanks for watching the stream, and I'll see you next time.